In the course of conversations, I frequently find that this is from the pen of General, two-star General Kendall Penn. I frequently find that many people struggle with the difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day. Memorial Day was first enacted following the Civil War to commemorate Union soldiers of the Civil War. It was extended after World War I to honor all Americans who have died in all wars. It is always held on the last Monday of May every year. President Woodrow Wilson first proclaimed November 11th as Armistice Day in 1919 in memory of the veterans who died during World War I. In 1953, a humble shoe store owner in Emporia, Kansas, began a campaign to expand the scope of the holiday to honor all veterans, both living and dead. Less than a year later, President Eisenhower signed Public Law 380, proclaiming November 11th, Veterans Day, a day to honor American veterans of all wars. This holiday acknowledges the huge debt that this country owes its veterans. Somebody say amen. Indeed, our very existence as a nation is rooted in the willingness of patriotic citizens to put their private lives on hold, take up arms, and move to the sound of the guns. Patriots who realize that all those values that we hold dear, personal liberty, freedom to worship, freedom to own property, all these values are only secured through willingness to make the ultimate personal sacrifice. As a nation, we have been extremely fortunate and blessed to have men and women who were and continue to be willing to make these sacrifices. Indeed, every single moment since that fateful day in 1776, when our founding fathers signed the Declaration of Independence, service members in our nation's armed forces have stood ready to answer the nation's call. And we have to look no farther than right here in Arkansas to find examples of veterans who stood their ground under fire and defended these traditions and principles. Arkansans such as Army Lieutenant Maurice Footsie Britt of Lone Oak, Arkansas, who later served as Lieutenant Governor. On November 10th, 1943, Lieutenant Britt's unit came under attack by a German company. Lieutenant Britt was hit in the side by rifle fire and suffered extensive injuries to his face, hands, and chest from a hand grenade shrapnel. Yet he refused medical care and is personally credited with killing 5 German soldiers, machine gun crew, and throwing over 32 grenades. Lieutenant Britt's action in the face of superior enemy forces are credited with repulsing the enemy attack and saving hundreds of fellow Americans. For his actions, Lieutenant Britt was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. Arkansans such as Marine Private Wilson Watson of Earl, Arkansas. On February 26, 27th, 1945, Private Watson's platoon was attacking the Japanese-held island of Iwo Jima when they became pinned down by intense machine gun fire from prepared positions on ridges high above. Private Watson boldly and singly rushed the pillbox and destroyed the machine gun crew with a hand grenade. He then continued his assault and is credited with killing an additional 60 Japanese soldiers, allowing his platoon to continue their advance. For his action, Private Watson was also awarded the Medal of Honor. Arkansans such as Navy pharmacist mate Jack Williams of Harrison, Arkansas. On March the 3rd, 1945, while serving with the 5th Marine Division, Williams advanced under enemy fire to provide medical aid to a Marine who had been struck by rifle fire. While administering aid, Williams himself was struck in the abdomen and groin 3 times. He only rendered self-aid after evacuating the stricken Marine. Williams then advanced back into the fire to care for another Marine casualty. He was struck again by Japanese fire and lost his life, making the ultimate sacrifice on the behalf of his country. Williams was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor. Today, our country continues to rely on veterans whose success at keeping the wolf from the door are best reflected in and a public that scarcely realizes that we are always at war. Veterans who serve selflessly in spite of physical privation, loneliness, separation, and fear of violent death. Veterans who realize that our freedom was not easily won and that it cannot be maintained for us and future generations without cost, commitment, and risk. As we reflect today on our veterans, let each of us commit to earning those blessings of liberty which they have so dearly bought. To each of our service members that are here today and all the veterans who have come before, I say thank you for your service. Sincerely, two-star General Kendall Penn. It's an honor, and I'll say it, and I say it every holiday that's similar to this. It's an honor to be here today, and I owe my life to two people. I owe my life to the Lord Jesus Christ, and I owe my life to the American soldier. And I don't want to forget. I don't want to forget. And the United States of America is not built on a race. It's not built on a religion. It's built on a principle that all men are created equal. We've had our faults and our failures, and we made great mistakes. But it's still built on that principle that all men are created equal. And so thankful for that today. I'm so thankful for that today.